This is the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on February the 3rd, 2012. Our time is 8:41 Mountain, 10:41 Eastern. The radio show runs on AM 640 in Toronto, 630 CHED in Edmonton. If you ever miss a radio show, catch us online, hesradio.com. Also, Harold's website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, or hesradio.com, where the shows are archived. We're into the month of February. January was a great month for gold. It rose 11%, the largest one-month gain since August 2011, and the largest for the month of January since 1980. Thanks to a combination of the weakness in the U.S. dollar from a Federal Reserve commitment to keep U.S. rates near zero and central bank gold purchases, the silver price rose by nearly 20% last month, its largest monthly rally in 9 months. Very, very positive news, Harold, as we start 2012, and we expect more good news to continue in hard assets as the year goes along.
You bet. You know, very quietly, the gold and silver market has moved up. So when I read and looked at the numbers, you know, first of all, the numbers are accurate, but again, a 20% increase in the price of silver. And don't forget, silver dropped down to $26. It's now back up to $34.50. So, you know, the silver market has done extremely well, very quietly moving up and getting through resistance levels and building new bases. Same with the gold market. So gold broke $17.50 on Friday, which is a very important number. That was key resistance. The next level for gold is 18.25 and then 1900, which I feel very comfortable we're going to hit this year. In fact, we feel we'll go way above 1900 in gold and hit somewhere between 22 and 2500. So the gold market's looking very, very strong. Don't forget the U.S. dollar has backed off also. It was up to 82, 83 cents. This week hit 78 cents. So the key to the gold market going higher is obviously a continued drop in the U.S. dollar, and we know that that's going to happen because the Federal Reserve announced last week that they're going to keep interest rates at zero till 2014. So that should bring the U.S. dollar down to the levels that could be very explosive for gold and silver. The silver market broke $34 this week, which was extremely important. Next level is $38. Once that's broken, we should hit 50. But I doubt that silver's going to stop there. We could see anywhere from $50 to $65 silver. So silver could literally double this year. We're very, very excited about that. And again, silver's looking extremely strong. Again, moving up 20% in the month of January was a huge move for silver. All the metals are moving at this point. Platinum is trading at $1,640. Don't forget it was down into the 1500s or lower, and the platinum market is looking strong. Palladium is also looking very strong. Palladium's trading above 700, traded on Friday as high as $717. So all the metals are looking an awful lot stronger, but again, we're very excited about gold and silver. On top of that, oil's trading between 98 and 100. I'm very, very bullish on oil, and we'll talk about that in a couple seconds. We do believe there's going to be some major situations in the Middle East coming before the summertime, and that could push the price of gold, silver, and oil tremendously higher. We are predicting oil prices will break $200 this year and possibly go far further than that. The Canadian dollar is at par with the U.S. dollar, and the Canadian dollar should move substantially higher this year as the U.S. dollar continues to fall. So look for the Canadian dollar to end up the year probably at around the 105 to possibly 110 level, where the U.S. dollar, if it breaks 72.50, could drop all the way down. And again, over the next couple of years, we do believe that the American dollar is going to drop down to around the 55 cent level, which is why ultimately we believe that gold will be above 5,000, possibly substantially higher than that. We do believe that silver will break $100 and possibly double that before this whole move is over. The situation in Iran and Israel is starting to get extreme, and for those that attended our seminar in Edmonton and listened to the radio show, we have predicted that there will be a war in the Middle East before the first half of the year is over. Here's what is coming out at this point, and tell me if you think that this is as ridiculous as it sounds. U.S. warns Iran not to fight back against Israel attack. U.S. warships remain in the Strait of Hormuz amidst simmering tensions. The USS Abraham Lincoln warship has remained stationed in the Strait of Hormuz despite an Iranian threat that no more aircraft carriers should transit the sensitive oil choke point as tensions in the Persian Gulf continue to simmer, with Washington warning Tehran it will join an Israeli attack if Iran dares to fight back in any way. You heard me right. What the United States is saying that Israel is going to attack Iran, and if Iran fights back, then the United States is going to get involved. That's what they're saying. They're saying that Stanford's latest naval update map shows that the USS Lincoln has not moved from its position, having transited the strait almost 2 weeks ago. Similarly, the USS Carl Vinson has also remained in this position, suggesting U.S. naval officials are satisfied with the strategic position of the two warships as Israel prepares to launch an attack on Iran in which the U.S. could quickly become embroiled. The U.S. Secretary of Defense believes that there is a strong likelihood that Israel will strike Iran in April, May, or June, adding that Panetta was likely told of the timing when Israel Defense Minister Barak postponed a planned U.S.-Israeli military exercise that had been scheduled for May. Now it appears that the United States has almost finalized getting all its ducks in a row in preparation for Israel's assault on Iran's nuclear facilities. The Washington Post article makes it clear that the Obama administration will stand by while Tel Aviv leads the attacks. The U.S. will only become overtly involved if Iran hits U.S. assets or if Israel population centers are hit. So in other words, if Iran fights back at all, the United States is going to get involved. Personally, I find this a ridiculous thing because there's no way in the world when attack Iran is not going to protect itself. So basically, I think this just confirms what we've been talking about and feeling that there is going to be an attack in the Middle East coming up before the summertime, and that is going to be instrumental in the price of oil, gold, and silver moving tremendously higher. What I'm seeing in the markets right now is posturing. They're trying to talk down the price of oil because they know what happens when this all happens. As soon as Iran starts to mine the strait, which they have 2,000 mines ready to mine that strait, as soon as that happens, all hell is going to break loose and the price of oil is going to take off. Now again, a large increase in the price of oil up to $150 to $200 would derail any type of economic rebound that obviously most countries in the world are looking for. But there's just no way in the world that that's going to happen. And I do believe that we're going to see oil prices go substantially higher. Now again, they could play with the market like they did in 2008 when they brought the market in oil down from 150 down to 30. But look, oil's right back up to $100 because it's bullish anyways. And just add to the fact that Iran's oil is going to be off the market is just going to lead to tremendously higher prices and again to extremely high inflation. So again, we did feel that we were going to see this happen before the first half of the year is over, and it looks like we have that confirmation at this point. Again, we do believe we are going to see an attack on Iran, which will lead to gold prices surpassing 2,000 and possibly going to 2,500, silver surpassing 50 and going to 60 to 65, and oil breaking its old high of 150 and going to possibly 2 to 250. I would recommend getting some oil into your portfolio, and I did recommend the last few shows that there is an exchange-traded fund, an ETF called USO, U.S. Oil, and that's the one that I would recommend you look into to put either into your RSP or into your personal account. I do believe oil is going to be one of the stronger markets this year. Again, the U.S. dollar is falling based on the news that the Federal Reserve announced that they're going to keep interest rates close to zero till at least 2014. That also is going to bring on massive inflation. And massive inflation, again, is going to happen, and it's going to happen before you know it. So if you're not situated in the markets at this point, if you don't have gold, silver, diamonds, those type of assets, you're going to be like the 90% of the people out there that are going to get hurt by these moves coming up. If your income stays at the same level, but your cost of living goes up due to inflation, something has got to suffer. Because, again, you're either going to have to make more money, or you're going to see that your assets are going to start to drop and drop and drop. Now is the time to get involved in these markets. Again, we saw an 11% increase in the price of gold in January. We saw a 20% increase in the price of silver in the month of January, two monumental moves, and the price of oil is getting ready to take off again as the U.S. dollar is falling and the Canadian dollar is rising. We're in a perfect scenario to make some serious, serious money. Again, these times are extremely troubling and confusing. We have countries in the United States, in Europe that are going bankrupt. We have the U.S. in huge financial trouble. Again, at this particular point, it appears that the troubles in Europe are a little bit stronger than the U.S. at this point. But again, don't forget this is an election year coming up, and it happens every time. They make things look an awful lot better going into the elections than what they really are. Things in the United States are dire. The fact is the real estate market continues to fall, and it will continue to fall probably another 20 to 25%. And as long as the middle class and the people in the United States, and anywhere in the world, mind you, once they see their values of their homes and real estate dropping, that takes away most of your wealth, as most people have most of their wealth in their real estate. So again, we're going to head into some of the most difficult times you've ever seen. If you're sitting in paper assets, you're going to be in huge financial trouble. If you're sitting in gold and silver and diamonds, you're going to get through these times and do extremely well. What we do believe is going to happen is inflation is going to skyrocket to the highest levels that we have ever seen, based on the fact that the Federal Reserve and other countries are printing substantial amounts of money, and we've got QE3 coming probably before the summertime, which means another $1 trillion will be printed and put back into the economy in the United States. This will lead to inflation like we've never, ever seen before. And again, to wait till it already happens is a massive mistake. We've been on the air for over 10 years. When we first started recommending gold was at $250, and we were predicting these type of scenarios. Now they're right upon us, and again, gold's at $1,750 and silver's at $34. What we need to do at this particular point is start to get serious about what we need to do. We need a game plan if we're going to get through these difficult times. You know, I doubt that there's too many billionaires listening to our radio show every week. However, the people that do listen to our show are hard-working Canadians. You know, the fact is that we work extremely hard. We save our money. We may have had some success in business and been able to put away some wealth. But the fact is that guys like us, people like us, how do we get through the times that are above us, that are coming forward? When you get a guy like George Soros, one of the most prolific investors in the world, the billionaire that took down the Bank of England and shorted the British pound and made $1 billion in a day, when $1 billion was a lot of money, he says we're heading into financial Armageddon. He said that he's positive that we're going to see a collapse of the financial system. So the fact is that if that's going to happen, if countries are going bankrupt and the euro is not going to be here and the U.S. dollar could possibly plummet in half from what it is, why in the world would we not want to do something about that? And to wait till this is already upon us is a major mistake. We need to get into physical owns gold, silver, and diamonds. Those will get you through these times, and not only will you get through them, you're going to make some serious money. And if I'm right about inflation, which I'm positive that I am, we're going to eventually see a repeat of 79 and 80 when interest rates went up to 20 and 22%. Just think about this. If we make the right moves at this particular point, if we invest in the right markets and protect ourselves like we're supposed to, if we own gold, we own silver, we own diamonds, which are the three major assets that will go up during these inflationary times, we could make an awful lot of money over the next 5 to 6 to 7 years. And then interest rates go up to 20%, and we lock those in long term, we'll be sitting pretty. I'm saying at this particular point to wait any further is a major mistake. You've got some of the most brilliant minds in the world that are saying that we're heading in this direction. If we believe in insurance, which we do because we own it, we need to own insurance against inflation, and there's absolutely no doubt that that is coming. Food and oil prices are skyrocketing as costs of other things are going down. You've got deflation and inflation happening at the same time. Deflation on things that we own, inflation on things that we need to own. So, again, we're heading into a very, very interesting time. Again, this is what we've been gearing up for. This is crunch time. This is the time when these markets could literally explode, and then we're going to chase after them. We don't want to do that. You want to own your physical gold, your physical silver, and put away some diamonds for safety, and not only will we get through these difficult times, we're going to flourish and make a ton of money and be able to lock in 20% interest rates in about 6 or 7 years. That's the way I see things happening at this time, Randy.
The company that Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in precious metals, a Canadian company, been in business for over 10 years, the entire time of this bull market in precious metals. Worldwide Precious Metals, that's their name. Their telephone number, 1-866-623-2002, 1-866-623-2002. Their website, wwpmc.com, wwpmc.com. That's the only company that Harold recommends that you use when it comes to investing in precious metals. Might add as well, give them a chance to earn your business. One of the things I wanted to touch on, and you can get our free weekly newsletter from Worldwide or Harold. Give Worldwide a call or speak with Harold at rarecoloreddiamonds.com or 1-800-432-1022. Get our newsletter. We have our charts of the week, quotes and quick hits, information on diamonds, gold, silver, the sovereign debt crisis, U.S. debt and deficit. CBO came out with a report in the United States. We'll talk about it later. Very serious. Also, the banking crisis continues. MF Global, GDP numbers not great. Jobs, that situation not great as well. Information on real estate and geopolitical news. And what I wanted to get to is the geopolitical section of our newsletter. We'll go through it very quickly. These are just some of the headlines. New intelligence report says Iran is willing to attack on U.S. soil. Also, Israel. Iran creating a missile to hit U.S. East Coast in reach. Iran warns time is running out to launch its strike on Iran. Also, Israel warns. Also, Israel must be ready to strike Iran, according to an Israeli Army Chief of Staff, Lieutenant General Benny Gantz. He says his country must build up its military capabilities and be prepared to strike if economic sanctions fail to prevent Iran from developing a nuclear weapon. Israel must be obviously willing to deploy its military assets because Iran may be within a year of gaining nuclear weapons capability. Also, Iran's oil, their tanker firms are being targeted for sanctions. Doug Casey from Casey Research. There's an interesting article where he talks about the coming war with Iran. Greg Hunter, who used to work with CNN, a financial reporter now, has a great article, State of Denial in the Coming War That's Going to Be a Catastrophe. Also, the Taliban is poised to retake Afghanistan after NATO pulls out. Those are some of the things you can read in our free weekly newsletter we send out via email. If you'd like to receive it, speak with Worldwide, 1-866-623-2002 or wwpmc.com. For those that might have watched 60 Minutes about a week ago, they had Leon Panetta on, the defense secretary, and he said the United States will not allow Iran to have a nuclear weapon. It's just that simple. Now, on the silver side of things, it was an amazing week for silver news, and I would really encourage you to get our newsletter. It's the companion to our radio show. It's a must-read every week. You can go through it in about 10-15 minutes. You'll be completely up to date as to what is happening in the world financially. You can delve further if you want to. A quote from James Turk. He says, I've been saying, once silver hurdles $35, I expect to see it go to 68 to 70 in 2 to 3 months. The big story was, though, Harold, Elle Field, who is a technical analyst, and Jim Sinclair is a person who really respects Elle Field in a major way. Elf gave a speech in Australia, and he projected gold would go to $4,500 by the time the bull market in precious metals was done. So the question, and it was only natural, the question became, where would silver eventually go to based on that $4,500 price forecast? And according to Al Field, he actually believes that we'll see $158.34 for silver. And he's using a gold to silver ratio of 28.4. So he's dividing 4,500 divided by 158.34. that is obviously a huge number. And here we are today, around $33, $34. If Alfield is right, the potential for this market is simply outstanding. Egon von Greyers has a commentary on Alfield and his call for $158 silver. It's a must-read in the newsletter. And I should mention as well, website silverseek.com, they had a virtual silver conference, and some of the speakers were Eric Sprott, James Turk, and David Morgan. You can read those speeches in our newsletter, and we'll be happy to send our newsletter to you free of charge. Speak with Worldwide, 1-866-623-2002, or go to wwpmc.com. Stephen Lieb, another person who is very, very bullish on silver, said he expects silver to break $100 this year. And he says, I don't want to sound like a nut, but I think it's pretty hard to be too bullish on silver right now. One major reason is China. To give you an update, we have seen China continue to ratchet up their goals for solar energy. Instead of looking for 20 gigawatts by the year 2020, they're now looking at 50 gigawatts. And where there is solar, there is going to be demand for silver. We've seen a drawdown in inventory of silver, and production growth has definitely slowed. I think the outlook for silver, both as an industrial metal and certainly as a monetary metal, is as bright as it possibly can be. I'm sticking to my target at least $100, but I'll tell you, it will happen this year. We are definitely heading for triple-digit silver in the not-too-distant future. That according to Stephen Lieb. And one of the articles, and Bloomberg had this article this week, and it is a must-read for those interested in investing in silver or already in the silver market. Silver powering 20 million homes as glut subsides. Record industrial demand for silver and resurging investor interest is diminishing a supply surplus, according to this story from Bloomberg, driving the metal used in everything from solar panels to batteries to its best start in a year, to a year in almost 3 decades. And they go on to say in this article that very easily silver could reach $50 this year. Harold, we have about a minute left in this segment, but I would really encourage people to get our newsletter this week because the silver segment of the newsletter is one of the most bullish we've seen in a long, long time.
You bet, and it should be. And again, it is a great newsletter. It's just loaded with fabulous information. And again, all we want is for our listeners to the show to have the information they need to make an intelligent business decision. And again, the newsletter certainly brings you up to date to everything that's really happening, not what you're seeing on television, what's really happening in the world markets, which is the information that you need. So get the newsletter this week. Again, we make it free of charge like the radio show. All we want is for our listeners to have the information they need so they can do the right thing.
One thing I wanted to get to before our break, I was listening to the radio on the way into the station this morning, and there was some pretty big spin on the U.S. job numbers. They were expecting 150,000. They got 243, and the spin I heard was, oh, this is unbelievable. Well, go to the Drudge Report. A record 1.2 million people fell out of the labor force in 1 month. The participation rate for the United States, people in the workforce, 63.7%, a 30-year low. You may remember that David Rosenberg from Gluskin Sheff said you would need 400,000 jobs per month for 5 to 7 years to get back to where they were before this all started. So this is, in fact, the CBO, and we'll get to it in the second half of the show, saying that they actually see unemployment going up this year as the year goes along. To learn about investing in precious metals, 1-866-623-2002, the website, wwpmc.com. We'll come back and talk about diamonds as the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall, continues right after this. Welcome back to the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel. My name is Randy Marshall. Joining us via the telephone, our financial expert, Harold Siegel. We're taping the show on February the 3rd, 2012. Our time is 9:06 Mountain, 11:06 Eastern. Radio show runs AM 640 in Toronto, 630 CHED in Edmonton. If you ever miss a radio show, the shows are archived at hesradio.com, also rarecoloreddiamonds.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com. There's only one company that Harold recommends you use when it comes to investing in precious metals. That is Worldwide Precious Metals. Their website, wwpmc.com. The telephone number, 1-866-623-2002. Get our free weekly newsletter. It's a must-read every week. Harold will send it to you worldwide. We had the story last week, and they'll be happy to send it to you. George Soros warning of financial collapse, class warfare, and the rise of evil. And he says, the situation is about as serious and difficult as I've experienced in my career, he told Newsweek. We're facing an extremely difficult time, comparable in many ways to the 30s, the Great Depression. We're facing now a general retrenchment in the developed world, which threatens to put us in a decade of more stagnation or worse. The best case scenario is a deflationary environment. The worst case scenario is a collapse of the financial system. And he is really believing that we are in serious times. So definitely speak with Worldwide about investing in precious metals and speak with Harold about diamonds. Harold's website for investing in colored diamonds is rarecoloreddiamonds.com. rarecoloreddiamonds.com. The featured diamond of the week. This week's diamond is in this diamond, when you see the video, and we have the video linked in the newsletter, you can go to Harold's website and click on featured diamond. When you see the video of this diamond, it is stunning. It's a 1.03 carat radiant cut, fancy intense, yellow, internally flawless. Now, please remember, colored diamonds are the world's most concentrated form of wealth. A colored diamond portfolio worth millions of dollars fits inside an envelope and can be easily transported in your coat pocket. They can be transported quietly and legally and sold globally in most major cities. These facts alone make colored diamonds worthy of consideration by investors and collectors seeking discreet investment ideas, and Harold would be more than happy to help you. Go to rarecoloreddiamonds.com and take a look at our featured diamond. It's a stunning 1.03 carat radiant cut, fancy intense yellow, internally flawless diamond. And Harold, the video for this is amazing. This is a huge, chunky, big diamond.
Well, it's a beautiful diamond. And again, the video really shows every aspect of it. We're the only company that has the videos on diamonds until somebody finds a way to copy us. But the fact is that the fancy intense yellow flawlesses are extremely popular. The colors are amazing. There's many colors of yellow. We only deal in the three top colors: fancy yellow, fancy intense, and fancy vivid. And this is a fancy intense. And you can tell by the video, the color on it is a 10 out of 10. It's absolutely amazing. This diamond's in the $25,000 range. And again, these diamonds double every 4 years in price. They do as well as gold does during times of high inflation. In 1979 and 80, a diamond like this went up 500% in 2 years. So a diamond like this in the $20,000 to $25,000 range, with the inflation that's coming, we anticipate in the next 5 years the diamond will be worth somewhere in the range of $100,000. So again, this diamond could go up 500% like it did in 79 and 80, just like gold and silver are doing right now also. This is such an important asset because, again, as Randy brought up before, is portable private wealth. And with all the fear out there, with what George Soros is saying and other brilliant economists are saying, the potential for currencies to crash, the potential for other situations to happen, and mostly inflation, there are very few assets that will protect you against that. And again, if you believe in insurance on your house, your car, your health, your life, and all that, you need to have insurance on your financial situation, and a rare colored diamond like the one that we're showing as the featured diamond will do extremely well for you. Even if we weren't heading into terrible times, even if we weren't heading into heavy inflation, a diamond like this is perfect for retirement because they double every 4 years in price. Means that in 10 years, a diamond like this will be worth $80,000 to $100,000. And we are the only company, by the way, that can resell the diamond for you. We also own HS Fine Auctions, and we're the only online, real-time, live auction site that can resell your diamonds for you. And again, this is something that I built for my clients to sell their high-end collectibles. We will be having another auction in February, and I will bring that up to you when the time is right to do so. The other thing is that we have developed a presentation on diamonds that you have to see. It's a phenomenal presentation that tells you everything. It leads you from diamonds coming out of the ground to being cut and polished. We have a video, actually, of cutting a diamond that took 3 months, and we reduced it to 2.5 minutes. That's in the presentation. We've also shown how diamonds are set, especially pink argyle diamonds in rings, and it goes through. It's a phenomenal presentation. And the fact is that we are offering it free, and we are offering free online seminars to see this particular presentation. So if you're an investment group, if you're an investor that wants to learn more about diamonds, colored diamonds, and how they work and how you can profit by them, you're going to want to sign up for our free our free seminar on rare colored diamonds and how to invest in them. Again, just contact us at rarecoloreddiamonds.com and sign up for the free seminar, and you're going to learn a tremendous amount. Again, information is key. Information is going to tell you and give you the information you need to make an intelligent business decision. And I think that one of the best investments you could ever make, especially in the times that we're in right now, is in rare colored diamonds, where we do carry all diamonds. We carry diamonds starting at $20,000 and going up to $35 million. Most of our clients buy diamonds under $100,000. In fact, a lot gets started in the $20,000 to $25,000 range. I know it's not for everybody. $20,000 to $25,000 is a lot of money. However, it's safe money. These diamonds never ever go down in value. So it's not like buying a stock or a mutual fund where you're susceptible to what the market conditions are. There has not been a new mine that is opened in the last 15 years that produced any quantity of colored diamonds. In fact, it takes 100,000 carats of white diamonds just to find one colored diamond. But that's, colored diamonds in general. The diamonds that we carry and the diamonds that we offer to our clients are flawless yellow diamonds, and they have a track record. All you have to do is go on the investing in diamonds section of the website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and look at the historical price tracking system, and that will tell you where diamonds were back in 1980, where they are today, and where they're going to be 10 years from now. Basically, again, without inflation, which we're positive is going to happen, but without inflation, a $20,000 diamond could be an $80,000 to $100,000 diamond in 10 years. What we're saying with the upcoming inflation, with the fact that the Federal Reserve is going to keep interest rates at zero till at least 2014, which is basically two and a half years from now, we see inflation at a very high level because of that, along with high commodity and oil prices that could push the price of diamonds up in a much shorter period of time. In fact, diamonds like the one that we're showing as a featured diamond over the next 5 to 6 years could go up 5 times what they are today. So while you can still get them, there's very, very few of these available. We specialize in yellow flawless diamonds, and my cutter cuts 80% of the flawless diamonds in the world, and those diamonds go directly to my clients in Canada. So again, my clients own them, I own them, and my children and grandchildren own them. And again, they're the safest investment that you can make. They never, ever go down in value. They're portable, transferable wealth. They can be sold in another currency. And again, with guys like George Soros predicting, tremendous destruction in the financial markets, this is an asset that you cannot afford not to have. It's one of the most important assets you could ever own. Don't forget, different times bring on different financial measures. And back in times when the U.S. dollar was strong and the U.S. economy was strong, the stock market was a place to have your money, and the real estate market. But the exact opposite is happening right now. The U.S. economy is in shambles. The U.S. dollar is plummeting, and so is the real estate market in the U.S. We anticipate that the paper asset markets like stocks and mutual funds will plummet, and we're going to wake up one day and find the stock market back down at 5,000 to 6,000 points. We don't want to be in the market at that point. I'm suggesting you get your money out of the risky stock markets and get it into gold, silver, and diamonds. Those are the areas that will do the best. That's the areas that's going to make you the most amount of money. And again, rare colored diamonds have never, ever dropped in price. And I've been in business 35 years. I have never, ever seen a price decline. In fact, there's a 25% increase coming in colored diamonds by about the middle of this year. So if you are going to get involved in the market, now is the time to buy your gold, silver, and diamonds. Number one, while you can still get them, and number two, while you can still get them at a great price. The other situation is pink diamonds. pink diamonds from the Argyle mine are one of the best investments you could make, because 95% of the world's pink diamonds come from one mine, and that's the Argyle mine in Australia. They've been in operation since 1985. It's the largest producing diamond mine in the world, where it does produce 30 million carats of diamonds a year. Only 200 out of the 30 million carats are these pink diamonds. So if you held your hand out and they pour the whole year's production of pink diamonds into your hand, it would barely cover the palm of your hand. That's how minuscule, how tiny the pink diamond market is, and 95% of these diamonds come from one mine, the Argyle mine in Australia. Rio Tinto, a publicly traded company, owns that mine, and they came out with a press release last year saying that the mine has been in operation since 1985. It's coming close to its end. It's just not producing the quantity of diamonds that they needed to produce, and they're planning on closing the mine by the latest 2018, which is 6 years from now. Every indication is, though, that this mine could close by 2016, which is only 4 years from now. So again, we believe that the pink diamond market is an amazing place to put your money, and we do anticipate that the price of pink diamonds will increase 8 to 10 times what today's prices are. So again, very seldom does a situation like this come around. You know, if they announce that all of the oil was or 95% of the oil was going to be off the market, the price of oil would go to levels that we've never dreamed possible. If they said the same thing, that the price of grains, that there's not going to be any grain production due to droughts and that type of thing, there's no corn, wheat, and soybeans, the prices would go to ballistic levels. The same thing is happening in colored diamonds. They're going to close the mine that produces 95% of the world's pink diamonds. That's one of the best investment opportunities that we've ever seen. Very seldom does something like that happen. If you go on my website, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, go to the loose diamonds section, you'll see yellow diamonds, pink diamonds, blue diamonds, red diamonds, purple diamonds, orange diamonds, green diamonds. The ones that we want to concentrate on at this particular point are the yellow flawless diamonds. We carry the three best colors: fancy yellow, fancy intense, and fancy vivid. Those are all going up by at least 25% by September, so you want to get them now. They're also one of your best hedges against inflation and currency devaluation. The other diamonds, you want to go to pink diamonds, and again, we carry the three best colors: fancy pink, fancy intense, and fancy vivid, and these are the diamonds you also want to own. They'll make you a fortune over the next 6 to 8 years, and we want our clients to be in the right markets at the right time. You couldn't pick a better time to be in the diamond market than right now. We're expecting gigantic price movements coming up this year.
RareColoredDiamonds.com is the website. Go to the featured diamond section of that website and take a look at our featured diamond this week. 1.03 carat radiant cut fancy intense yellow internally flawless diamond. Harold's website, the only website with video. And this diamond is showcased so beautifully with that video. Also, speak with Harold about free online seminars. He'll be more than happy to help you. Connect with him at rarecoloreddiamonds.com. Telephone number 1-800-432-1022, 1-800-432-1022. Harold will be happy to send out our free weekly newsletter to you as well. All you need to do is speak to him, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, or the telephone number 1-800-432-1022. Interesting article in our newsletter from National Geographic on how diamonds are formed. And I think that's what people have to understand too, Harold. You're in a situation where this is nature's art. Picasso or any of the other great masterpiece type painters, this is Mother Nature who's doing it. And it's as individual and distinct as great painters, as is the case with diamonds. The difference is it's being created by nature, and it's Mother Nature's art. And it's when you get into colored diamonds, it's the rarest of the rare. White diamonds, there are a lot of them out there. Colored diamonds, very, very few, and becoming, as we've said many times before, harder and harder to get all the time.
And again, it's a supply and demand situation that, again, is just really playing perfectly into what we want to do. You're talking about a very, very small marketplace. Again, maybe 100 yellow flawless diamonds become available a year, and 80 of those are cut by my cutter. It's very, very difficult to cut a flawless diamond. In fact, what I understand, there's only 3 major cutters that can cut a flawless diamond. They equate it to breaking an eggshell and putting it back together. So again, when you buy the very, very best, you always get the most back for it. Don't forget, we also own hsfineauctions.com, so we're the only company that can resell your diamonds and your high-end collectibles when it's time to do so. And again, I will announce when we are having our next auction is going to be coming up very, very soon. Also, I just do want to reiterate that we have put together one of the greatest presentations that you've ever seen on investing in rare colored diamonds, and we want to make it available to our radio listeners free of charge. So what you can do is you can contact us at rarecoloreddiamonds.com, and you can set up an appointment where we will do a free online seminar for you, either as an individual or as a group. Just understand that the minimum investment is $20,000. So again, is not for everybody because not everybody has that type of money to invest. But if you do have that type of money to invest and you do want to learn why rare colored diamonds is such a phenomenal investment and how it can help you, it would be our pleasure to do an online seminar with either myself or one of my representatives and teach you everything about the rare colored diamond market, how they're cut, how they're polished, all about GIA, how to read a GIA certificate, how to know when you have a strong investment diamond. Again, it's one of the greatest presentations we've ever put together. It's very high tech, and again, we're making it available to our Canadian clients and listeners because you need to know why you need to be in the rare colored diamond market. So again, this is one of the greatest opportunities. We're doing it free of charge, just like we do our radio show, just like we do with our seminars, and just like we do with our newsletter. We're here to give you information that will help you make the right decision. And again, we're not into gouging our clients and charging for every single thing. We want to make it as easy and as profitable and as positive for our listeners as possible. That's why we do the things that we do. So again, you can sign up for a free online seminar to learn about investing in rare colored diamonds. Again, I think you're going to love it. It's one of the great presentations that we've ever done.
RareColoredDiamonds.com, the website, telephone number 1-800-432-1022. When you get a chance, take a look at Harold's website, hsfineauctions.com. You can see some of the items that were auctioned during the last auction. We will announce the next auction. It will be coming up very, very soon. hsfineauctions.com, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, the telephone number 1-800-432-1022. To invest in precious metals, there's only one company that Harold recommends. That's Worldwide Precious Metals. Give them a chance to earn your business. The telephone number 1-866-623-2002. Whatever precious metals needs you have, they will be able to help you. Whatever it is, they will be able to help you. They've been in business the entire time this bull run in precious metals has been on. They're not Johnny-come-latelys. They've been through all the ups and downs in the market. They're experts in this field, and that's who you want to deal with, someone that specializes in precious metals. The telephone number, 1-866-623-2002, the website, www.pmc.com. One of the things I wanted to get to was that CBO report, and it's very, very critical that I think everyone learns about it. It came out this week. And one thing I wanted to mention, Ben Bernanke spoke to U.S. Congress on Thursday, and he was saying that the United States needs to get their budget deficits under control, because if they don't, you're going to have a situation that is very, very dire. He also warned Congress not to pull the reins too tight as to threaten growth, and that is the challenge. You're in the Great Recession. It's a very tepid, in my opinion, if hardly any recovery. And the catch-22 of it all, you know, they're running massive deficits, and yet they need to go to austerity. You go to austerity, and then you're in a serious situation of jobs, helping the housing market, and when you have 75% of your economy run by the consumer and their spending, that's the last thing you need. It's a very dicey situation. But the Congressional Budget Office, the government deficit report, it inflames and illustrates the budget debate. A report showing the government will run budget deficits of more than $1 trillion for the fourth consecutive year inflamed a debate over the federal government shortfall in the United States that is unlikely to be resolved before the November election. The CBO says it expects This year's gap between spending and revenue to total $1.1 trillion, yet another massive deficit, down from $1.3 trillion. The report illustrates the stakes in the presidential and congressional elections. It shows that future deficits may vary widely depending on budget decisions lawmakers are unlikely to make until after the November vote in the United States. And we also have another article, the 5 scariest debt and unemployment charts from the CBO report. And they're actually looking at what could happen if nothing changes, also if there were changes. But the thing that's quite interesting, some of the key points, is that CBO report, Harold, is saying that unemployment in the United States will be around 9% when Americans go to vote in November for the next president. They see it moving up to 10%. They also see taxes in the United States going up to 30%. Up 30% rather, and they also see deficits of $1 trillion for many, many, many years unless something is done. The Congressional Budget Office, they're pointing the way as to what's going to be happening. Even Ben Bernanke saying it, unless something is done. And that's why, Harold, when people hear that the Fed in the United States is going to keep interest rates low until 2014, they go, well, we don't quite understand. Why are they doing this? Look at the numbers. The CBO is pointing the way to what will happen unless something is done. It's a very serious time, and that's why we're advocating having hard assets, precious metals, in your portfolio.
You bet. Again, it's all makes sense. Again, you just have to know why certain things happen. And again, a lot of the moves that are being made right now are being made out of desperation. Desperate times bring on desperate measures. And again, being an election year, they're trying to make things look an awful lot better. Obviously, President Obama wants to get reelected. It's going to be a really, really dirty fight. It looks like it's going to be, Mitt Romney and it's going to be Obama. Thing is, Obama's got a huge amount of money for reelection. And again, they're making things look better than they are at this point because the things in the United States are dire. So you need to own assets like this because we could wake up one morning, and we will within the very foreseeable near future, and we will see markets spiking up. You'll see days where gold's going to go up $100, $150, even $200 in a day or two. You're going to see silver go up $2, $3, $4 in a day. Back in 79 and 80, we saw diamonds going up every single quarter when they went up 500%. So again, what we're trying to do is direct you to the areas that are going to give you the greatest return on your investments with the least amount of risk. There's no risk in rare colored diamonds. Again, the gold market and silver market, if you go back in history, have been the best markets during times of high inflation along with diamonds. So again, all we're doing is giving you the direction that these markets are going to go. What you need to do is step up to the plate because, again, the last thing you want to do is start to chase after these markets again. We got an unbelievable opportunity, especially in silver, because silver has been extremely volatile. Silver went from all the way up to 50, pulled back to 26, is now back up to 34. Again, we could see an increase in silver of 100% this year. We could see silver go to $65 very easily, and right now it's only at $34. So I'd very strongly recommend, if you believe that inflation is in the cards, if you believe that the U.S. is going to go to war with Iran and Israel, if you believe that that dollars are going to continue to be printed, then you need to own gold, silver, and diamonds. Otherwise, again, if you know this and you don't react to it, that's going to be an issue. So all you need to do is diversify yourself at this particular point. Keep some cash on hand, get something into the hard asset market, put away a diamond for safety because, again, when guys like these financial advisors and Soros, one of the smartest investors of all time, are saying what they're saying, we need to have some type of protection. And if we wake up one day and find out that this is true, which, again, there's an excellent chance that there is, it's too late at that point. We need to be in the markets beforehand, and if you believe in what we've been saying for the last decade, we've seen gold go from $250 to $1,900. We've seen silver go from $4 all the way up to $50. We've seen oil go from $18 all the way up to $150, and saw the euro go from $87 all the way way up to $1.60. These were the top recommendations that we've made over the years. I still think that rare colored diamonds is one of the best recommendations we've ever made. Our clients have done extremely well, but the best is by far yet to come. Again, get into the hard asset market while you still can, and then sit back and let the markets do their thing.
Thank you very much, Harold Siegel, for your knowledge for another week.
I appreciate that. I wish everybody a wonderful weekend and a very, very profitable day.
To invest in precious metals, only one company Harold recommends, Worldwide Precious Metals, www.pmc.com, the website, telephone number 1-866-623-2002, rarecoloreddiamonds.com, Harold's website. Connect with him as well at 1-800-432-1022, and take a look at his website, hsfineauctions.com. That's it. Another edition of the World Financial Report on radio with Harold Siegel and me, Randy Marshall. We will talk to you next week.